All right, good morning. I hope everyone had a good summer. Summer's officially over. We're here to work, or at least some of us are. So I hope you guys enjoy camp. It's good to be back at St. John Fisher. Good to be in upstate New York, getting a chance to get with some of our Rochester fans and fans from this area and all that come to travel and come to Rochester to see us. And happy to be back at St. John Fisher University. Really appreciate those that have put in a lot of hard work to get us here. First and foremost on the Bills staff, Andy Major, Ron Rakuya in particular, and all the Bills staff that have been here for weeks before we arrived as a team yesterday. So, and then the St. John Fisher staff, led by President Rooney, Head of Operations Todd Harrison, Athletic Director Bob Ward, and Head Football Coach Paul Vosberg, if I'm saying that right, I hope. Appreciate Coach having us. I know how hard it is to share a facility, but we appreciate him allowing us the time here. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Coach, why is it so important to be here, to go away? I mean, you obviously the last couple of years you were in Buffalo. You know the difference between the two. Why is it so important to be here?
Well, we want to get away. It's a great facility here. Everything's in proximity, close proximity, where you can get around the campus rather easily. The space is good for us, and getting away allows us a chance to come together as a team, spend some time together, maybe after meetings, before practice, get guys hanging out a little bit more, where they can develop those bonds that'll bind us during the year when it gets tough.
Sean, is everybody reported, and is anybody going to start camp on PUP?
Yeah, so everyone's here. Everyone showed up on time, and we're going to have a couple guys. So Roger Saffold will start on the NFI list. Roger injured some ribs in a car accident recently, so he'll start on NFI. And then Tre'Davious White, Ike Butker, and Ely Anku will start on the PUP list.
Can you give us some type of update on Trey?
He's on schedule. He looks really good. He's working his tail off, and Trey is a consummate pro, so that has not changed, and we're just excited to get him back when we can get him back.
Just
He's
to
not
clarify,
on the NFI list, or PUP list.
He's on the PUP.
okay, just to clarify that, Sean, on schedule means what in terms of we'll get him back in and when you expect that?
Well, he's on schedule with what the trainers are telling me is on schedule. I think he's got a great look in his eye. I know what he's working back towards, and really other than that, that's all I can say.
So what's the situation with Jordan Poyer? You said everybody's here.
Yeah.
Is he a go for practice?
Yeah, he's a go for practice. Yep.
You're, I know this is the first step. This is the first practice of camp, and we're a long way from the season. But this camp is sold out. There's not a ticket to be had. I mean, and we knew what the high expectations were back in the spring. How do you temper those expectations, knowing that there's going to be a lot of eyes on this team, especially with the success that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been working to a certain standard for a few years here now, since 2017, and that standard doesn't change. So that drive towards excellence that we pursue every day is nothing new for the Buffalo Bills. So the experience that we went through last season should help us this season in terms of the leadership of the team, the experience we got as a coaching staff. But we're here to work, and expectations are for people outside the building, and we're here to work, and that starts with training camp by putting a good practice together this morning, and like I mentioned earlier, coming together as a team and developing an identity of toughness as a football team while we're here.
When you talk about the experiences, are you talking about maybe the lull that you had in November or so, or just was that one of the experiences that you're referring to, and how you rallied back in December?
Yeah, all of it. I think you get better every year when you learn from your experiences. We went through a lot last season, and you go through a lot every year, right? Whether it's in life or in the course of an NFL football season, you're challenged in a lot of different ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you learn because of it.
Sean, you mentioned establishing an identity. There was a point last year where you guys were struggling to run the ball, and you even said training camp is when you figure that out. Is that something that you'll put an emphasis on at camp?
Yeah, I mean that's part of the goal here of training camp, not just here in Rochester, but also throughout the entire duration of training camp, Josh. And we want to make sure that we establish a physically tough football team, and that starts at the line of scrimmage. And of course, a part of that or a piece of that is how well you can run the ball and stop the run. But that's just one piece of it.
John, with Brian had been here for 4 years. The offense had been established, and you used training camp to just add things in and refine. Where do you think you are now with the changeover to Ken in that process of installing and getting guys to learn whatever they've changed?
Yeah, I really like Ken's leadership to this point in the spring, and then also where he's led off training camp. I've had a chance to watch him with his staff, work with his staff already in the last 2 days that we've been together here, and I think he's off to a good start. This will be his first training camp, and we speak to experience. There's no substitute for experience, so he's got a veteran staff around him in a lot of ways, and I'll be there to help where and when needed. But that's what we do. We work together as a staff. I think that staff chemistry and continuity is important.
So in terms of install, refine, do you think you're a little bit behind where you were, say, last year when Brian was in his 4th year, with Ken being in his 1st year as the play caller?
I just think overall we have work to do, whether it's offensively, defensively, or special teams. We've got work to do, and I know the guys are eager to get going this morning.
Sean, where's Spencer Brown at? And with him missing all the practices in the spring, do you feel like he's a little bit behind going into training camp?
Well, I think he would say, I don't want to say behind, I think he would say it'll be knocking some rust off here a little bit, and we're going to take it one period and one practice at a time. He missed a lot of, or a portion of last year, then obviously all the off season. So, but he's worked his tail off to get back and put himself in a position where he can go out there on that field this morning.
How big is after what Gabe Davis did in that playoff game? It looks like you're going to be leaning on him maybe more than you did the first 2 years. How big is it going to be for him to step up and meet that challenge?
Yeah, I love Gabe. I think he's off to a great start. He had a great off season. It'll be a potentially new role for him on our offense. But I know he's worked his butt off to put himself in a position to be there for his teammates, and I think that's great. I think that says a lot about who he is and the goals he has for himself in terms of his career.
Las Vegas has you as the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Whether the players know that specifically or not, they can't. It's impossible to avoid the noise of high expectations. What did you how did you address that? Did you address that at all in your opening message to the team? And what do you think about that?
Yeah, like I said earlier, we're here to work. We're here to work, and we've got a job to do and put a team together. As I said in the spring, names on the paper don't amount to a team. A team has to come together. A team has to put the work in. A team has to persevere through challenges, good moments, bad moments. So we'll see how our team comes together and how we handle all those situations.
Sean, give me more details on Roger. You said the accident was recent. How recent was it, and how concerned is that injury going forward?
Recent as of the last couple of weeks. It's obviously we're always concerned for the guys off the field, and obviously anyone involved in that accident, the same. But feel confident that he'll be back in due time.
After 2 years of camp back at Orchard Park, and now that you're back here, I mean, you're familiar with this place.
Yeah.
Just have you noticed the bonding, or just how much did you miss? Some of the stuff that you get to do here that you don't get to do, when you're in the office, so to say.
I'm having a hard time not looking at your shoe selection this morning right now. I like those, man. Some good swag right there. I like how you cross your leg and put it right in front of me too.
I can balance it here. But I got big feet, so you can't miss.
Well, so the question was about training camp, right?
Well, no, but just being back here and just how much maybe more you can get out of with a bonding situation.
Yeah.
Just maybe the comfort of having everybody here as opposed to being at Orchard Park, in the office, so to speak.
Yeah, I was reminded yesterday that I think only about a quarter of our team has ever been to St. John Fisher, and that some of that includes coaching staff as well and support staff. So you lose track a little bit of, for example, I think it's Dane Jackson. Although he's been with us now going on year 3, he was never up here at training camp. So when players check in and you expect them to know where to go, some of these guys don't know where to go. So we just have to have some awareness about that, and I think that also creates a little bit of freshness for them and newness to it. I know it does for me, even though I was here in 2019, we were last year. So, but again, I enjoy coming back here. I think it's a great environment and a great place to live and a great place to expand our brand up here.
Sean, you try to create competition. Does it help the competition at times to have a full crowd in that? Do players feed off of that?
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, they'll say some of them will say it doesn't matter, but they down deep when you compete and you can come out to a fan base like we have, and because there's tough days where you're a little sore waking up early, coming out to an early practice, and you need that little bit of motivation, if you will, from the fans to get you going a little bit. So we count on them to come out every day and support us like they do.